I've been clicking the go button.
All right.
We'll see what type of... You made a sparkly sound. Do it again.
That was Nori's tablet. Yep, we're live.
All right. Sounds horrifying. Hey, beautiful people. What's going on? It's another Wednesday. It's another stream. We're going to talk about Linux, probably. Hopefully. It might get confusing if we don't. Let's just say this. We'll get around to it.
We will definitely do things. Stuff.
We will do two of the aforementioned things. Pick and choose.
Yeah.
Our stream. It's a thing. It's real.
Yep. Stream is there. Chat bridge is working as intended. So that's good.
Yeah. Got an ad when you started the stream? Oh no. We might have made a fraction
We
of a
haven't
penny.
been demonetized yet. Not yet, anyway.
Right. It's just selective because that bot is still going haywire. Do you know what it's hell bent on demonetizing right now? Get this. All right. All of our Meet the Freemans, with us doing our best sailor impressions, skirted through the system. You know, just blood, gore, swearing, you name it. The 30-second clip of Jill scoring her first online goal, straight up demonetized. YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we don't rely on it for getting any type of like monetary anything, because what else?
Yeah. And unless you're PewDiePie, right now you're probably not doing too well.
Well, you see a lot of people on YouTube that are actively trying to fight back. Not fight back, that's the wrong word. They're trying to adapt their content to whatever this bot is, and we're not doing that.
I remember Leonard French, the copyright attorney. He was like, yeah, I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying not to discuss controversial topics because I want to see if I still get demonetized. Got to a point, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to Twitch.
Yep. He moved over to Twitch.
Yep.
That's why you get a P.O. box, man. Sup, drugs? I got a P.O. box. I hardly ever use it.
Hey, Truggles. Let's see. Company I used to work for in Portugal had a P.O. box. I myself never had one.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, has judgment been passed? Because last I heard, the judge had denied Leonard's.
Well, no, he said he had some news, I think, on a Sunday stream. I backed him.
Oh yeah, I heard of that.
Hi, Leonard. If you're watching, I'm a patron of your thing because I watch your show on Sundays, and it's kind of a rule I have. If I watch something more than like 3 times, I'm like, yeah, all right. Yeah, he was saying that he would have some big news. He thought he was going to have some big news Monday. So
Yeah. I saw he's posted a couple of videos, but didn't see any Alex Mauer related ones. Oh, there it is. Imagos wins. Alex Mauer agrees no more DMCA. Alright. Awesome. That whole, it's like one person managed to send over 70 DMCA claims in less than a week. And YouTube was happy to just sit by and let it happen.
yeah, man. YouTube put Steam to shame when it comes to the desire to be fully automated. That's why I don't understand it. You do see a lot of people on YouTube that are flat out, it's like, YouTube's taking this personally against me. It's like, no, there's not a human in that chain looking at anything you've ever done, buddy.
There have been a few humans involved with damage control on this one, but the bot is still being the bot.
That's going to be the bot. They don't care where you're going to go. People are starting to go to Twitch. All right, that's cool. I don't care. I just need a place so we can do this.
Yeah. And as it turns out, YouTube's got slightly better servers all over them worlds. I looked at the Black Friday deals. I looked at the Cyber Monday deals. I just wanted, cheapo NVMe M.2 so I could have an actual reason to do a full reinstall.
Oh, you should have told me they were 99 cents. For a 12-pack.
I did see an M.2 SATA SSD go on sale, but that's SATA. I already have 3 SATA SSDs in there.
I didn't. The only thing I learned about Black Friday this year, and especially Cyber Monday, oh my God, that's the thing too. That apparently, let's just drag this business up into like today too. We've even extended our cyber. I unsubscribed all y'all's bitches. All y'all. I gave you the Black Friday ones. It's like, I know those are coming. I can deal with that. But you just kept on hammering, and that was Tuesdays. Yesterday's before we did Meet the Freemans. I just opened it up. And I went unsubscribe.
I don't get emails, but I installed the eBay and Amazon apps on my phone. And those still send notifications. So I gotta find where they're keeping that particular setting because it's not in the usual place. So I'm gonna have to actually actively look for it.
There's always bacon at the bacon stand.
Bacon is on Fridays. That's when we all go to the cafe, like down the block from the building. And they make bacon rolls, bacon baguettes, bacon sandwiches, whatever you're into. So I always get a bacon baguette because it's Friday bacon.
You're a strange individual.
I am a stranger to these lands, that's for sure.
I have no illusions, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not just learning this. I'm just reiterating it for my own validation there.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally okay with it because bacon. And then I hear Dave complaining, it's all full of fat. It's all fat all over the place. And then he spends his time picking out the fat and tossing it in the bin. It's like, dude, that's where all the flavor is. What are you doing?
You can't go to Flavor Town without the fat, man. What? Come on. I don't know. I'm not wholly opposed to bacon bits.
Well, I guess at that point they would have fried anything that could kill you.
What Pedro doesn't know is bacon bits contain no bacon. That's why how do you think I...
Oh, those bacon bits.
Yeah,
okay.
the
I was thinking of actual bacon bits.
No. It takes 2 seconds of thinking. It's like, unrefrigerated on a shelf. Yep, yeah, that's probably pork. 100%. It's got to be pork.
I don't buy those. It's just, nah. Dried up jalapenos? Yeah, I'll buy those.
I buy fresh because Aldi's has, I don't know how many you get. It's usually like 6, 7 for like 79 pence.
Yeah.
Fresh, and by fresh, I mean, those things are like that far away from being able to talk. They're so genetically modified. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure.
They stay fresh for about 3 months.
I fully, what they do. I fully believe they feel pain. That's one of the reasons I enjoy eating them slowly. Oh, they do. I mean, because I'll chop one up a night when I'm making like Venn chow, and yeah, I just toss them back in the ice box. I don't. It's like boop.
Yeah,
They're fine.
Jalapenos are also a thing at work because Dave honestly didn't know how to pronounce it. And he said, "How do you say that? Is it jalapenos?"
You see, the hard part about that is not slapping the individual. Not that you want to be mean, because you don't want to be mean. You still want to show. You want to slap him with love. Like, you just kind of owed you that one.
So yeah, the jalapenos are a thing at work. And every now and then, Tony turns around and goes, "Oh, I've made it more betterer." And he's born and raised UK native.
That's when you show up with the actual glue sticks. Here you go. Here you go. Jalapenos. So spicy. Yeah.
Jalapenos, all of the jalapenos.
So, is there a good way to... I have a chipmunk that is hell-bent on using Turbo Jetta as nut storage. Now, normally, my solution to most things, acorn storage, is to just apply a liberal dose of fire.
Yeah, that's your car, though.
That's my car, and my garage is already full with other cars. I know hashtag first world problems, so I tend to...
Random ambulance.
I know, right? Crushed red pepper? Yeah, crushed red pepper is great. It's good for texture, not really for heat. I usually have cayenne pepper and some other business on hand. All the peppers. I got a three layer cabinet. Yeah, Linux Nero is showing off some of his fantasy porn earlier today in Discord.
Oh, there was about to be a screenshot of me with my tongue out.
Which angle do you need? I mean, I have a couple of thousands of hours of video archived. I could probably find one.
Empty can shoot right now.
I might try that, Mr. Red. The problem is I'm going to eat a lot of it.
Red peppers. I guess piri would count as a red pepper.
I've heard people say mothballs, but I don't want to go around shoving a bunch of mothballs in my, in the frame under the bonnet. And I'm thinking, because I know they make those ginormous rat traps.
Okay.
Catch the chipmunk.
Oh yeah. Right.
See, sometimes
Okay,
you just
my
gotta.
brain is back on that track. Right. Oh, there's a bunch of squirrels here. I'm surprised with this much cold they haven't gone into hibernation yet. But yeah, there's a bunch of them. Fuck you, Truggleswig.
I did go looking around. I don't own a BB gun with. I thought about just buying BB gun with a scope, and it's like, yeah, all right, you're gonna be you will literally be the guy on the front porch sitting in the chair, waiting.
Yeah, you do live a little bit far away though, so there's that.
You both live on something you can
Literally
drive
have a
across in a
car.
day.
I'm sure there are trains.
All right, I think we are about...
Let's see. In Portugal, if you wanted symmetrical, even if you had the business plan, you still had to pay an extra 30 something euros. It was weird values, like 37 something euros if you wanted symmetrical. BT and Sky here do one thing with their fiber packages, which are not available here. Sucks. But they let you pay an extra, I think it's £2 or £3. Say you only got like the 30 meg 30 meg down, 3 megs up fiber package, but your line actually supports 40 megs down and 7 up. You can pay an extra £2 or £3 to unlock the full speed of your line on top of what you're paying them a month. So yeah, if I had fiber here, that's something I'd totally consider to do. Sky. Just saying.
No, man. I mean, it could be good with the repeal of net neutrality in the States. They could do bandwidth upgrades like loot boxes. You don't know what speed you're going to get, but you got to buy a couple every month and like hope you unlock a high tier. Or
oh, they're totally going to do something like that.
If you really fancy, you just buy the season pass.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy the season pass for my fiber package.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good times. Yeah. All right. Let me go get a refill and showtime.
Indeed. Yeah, no, I would gladly up my pay from 0 Sky to actually paying something a month if you guys supported anything higher than crappy over the phone DSL. That'd be nice. Just saying. Well, Portugal doesn't really have any net neutrality, and the most egregious example of that is like mobile ISPs. They will give you a choice. It's like you get the base plan, and it comes with 1 or 2 gigs of downloads. But if you want unlimited traffic with certain services like Facebook or Netflix or YouTube, you need to pay them an extra €5 a month on your mobile plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that was step 1 for the lack of net neutrality in the US.
I don't know.
I use DSL. Well, pizza dude, you know my pain. Basically. $95 Tanzanians for 60 gigabytes of LTE a month. I could probably live on 60 gigabytes.
I can't. That's why we had to get rid of Uverse, because they put in the 100 gig caps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't do what we do on 100 gigs. Sorry. Oh, wow. I'm glad you clarified, Pizza. I thought you were serious. I was getting worried that you were paying just a bit much.
Let's see. The price for this internet package I have supposedly was £18.99, but since I keep calling them, it's like at the turn of every month. Yo, what was the top upload speed you got from me this month? 0.70. What was the minimum again? 1. Right. So what am I getting? A free month.
So I
There
like how
you
he
go.
keeps bragging about this, but he won't get an additional line to increase his speed for the money he's saving. So every time he says this, I'm just like, thanks for reminding me that you could have better internet, but you choose not to.
Yeah, I could have another line of just as shitty internet.
Yes, you could. Then you could have one dedicated for upstream.
Well, that's why I'm kind of hoping that Zen will make good on their promise and expand the fiber coverage.
My plan is
Because
to hope. What's your strategy to defeat the enemies? Hope. I'm gonna go sit my happy ass over there, with twiddling my thumbs. But don't worry, hope is involved.
I would, move, except all the places we looked at are stupidly expensive. So that's kind of off the radar right now. But if Zen actually makes good on their promise, come around December, January time, maybe get some of that 50-pound fiber. That'd be nice. It's only, I think max speed should be around like 40 something megabits down. And like 7 up. So, yeah.
All right. Let's do this.
Yes.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
some expensive fiber there, Lwdw.
Let's get you covered.
Oh no, the invisible terminal of magic.
Gets the job done, son. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Damn Linuxy news.
Mir doesn't know when to stop.
Those quote-unquote security people
snub it.
are at it again.
You already got that much fucking delay.
Okay, let's hang up, and I'll call you back.
Yeah, give me a call back.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Mir doesn't know when to stop.
Those quote-unquote security people are at it again.
Microsoft brings Office to Chrome OS.
And another distro drops 32-bit.
Oh, that's no good. But you know what it is? Because it's another great day for Linux, everyone. All right, let's go. Welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we're going to sit back, relax, and take that break and talk about all the fun things. Maybe some interesting things that we personally found going on in Linux. Maybe you'll find them interesting too. You know me, I'm Old Man Venn here at LGC Actual, flipping some bits, joined every week by the man on the island. He went back.
Oh, yes.
He even talks sometimes. It's kind of frightening. That's one Pedro Mateus. And what's been going on, buddy? You survived another week. I know it's getting cold. Everyone's panicking. There might be a little bit of snow.
I don't know about snow because Cambridge is still technically in the southern-ish portion of the British Isle. But yeah, it is. When I walked out of the house this morning, it was -2 Celsius. So yeah, winter has come, so to speak.
Winter has come, unlike the next season of Game of Thrones, which will probably be 2025 by the time. It's been kind of chill over here, and it's like I said, it was almost 20 degrees the last time I checked before we went live. But I think we just need to get right into this.
Let's. So, yeah, Mir doesn't know when to stop.
No.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't, man. The Ubuntu community, they're kind of asking, man. Grayback, he writes, Mir's work to implement Wayland support. It's going well. It's like, that's still a thing. Okay. Basics are in place. Things are going, but they want to know some things. They want some feedback. Desktop architecture, monolithic desktop, highly modular desktop, customization, themings, required features, and a bunch of stuff like this. Here's the thing. First and foremost, I'm glad they're still plugging away at it. It's like, but listen, I don't hate any. Okay, there's some projects I don't like a lot that could be misconstrued as genuine hate, but at the end of the day, you can't really hate code. I'm glad they're still plugging away at it because the more, the merrier. But if I did have to say this, maybe you can play Linus's Advocate, or whatever the Linux version of this Devil's Advocate is going to be. Because I think if we get down to the real talk with this is, why does Mir need Wayland support, Pedro?
Because Mir can also work as just a compositing or a composited window manager. And without Mir actively, ramming itself down people's throats with the whole Unity thing, I'm not opposed to that. Because, yes, we've heard countless times about the history between NVIDIA and the Wayland developers saying that, no, this is the right way to do it. No, this is the right way to do it. And no one really goes anywhere. And if Mir, at least for my opinion, if it could bridge that gap, it would be awesome. And yeah, no, that's just a positive. It's having more options when it comes to a window manager on Wayland. Right now on X, we have as many window managers as you could possibly ever shake a stick at. But when it comes to Wayland, we don't really have all those many. There's Weston, that it's called, I think. And there's the one that GNOME is using right now. KWin also supports it. There's that tiling window manager. I can't remember its name now. That also had the developer also had a bit of a hissy fit against NVIDIA. So yeah, no, it would be great to have that much extra option. And again, now that Mir is not actively forcing itself down people's throats, I actually don't mind it. It's another option for a market that actively needs more window managers, if it is ever to become useful.
This is true. That's why I definitely have to say the more the merrier on that. But I also have to play both sides and say, did Mir ever gain enough traction in the first place to really continue or justify its existence going from 2017 onward. And I don't know if I can make that argument, man.
It didn't really gain any traction because, well, a lot of people didn't really care. And the few that did actively tried their best to support it and use it to do the convergence thing that Unity tried to push for a while. Until the IPO became a thing and they decided, you know what, that's just bleeding us money. Let's not.
That's definitely a thing. So we talked about Google Drive last week, and I said,
Indeed.
You know, there's no point in messing with it because they're just going to change something. And you found a project that added an extra layer of nope on top of it.
Well, it's not exactly a project. This is core functionality of Plasma 5, which I learned because I am running KDE Plasma 5 right now. And it's like, okay, I know that there's some network drive mapping things going on with KDE. Let's see if they have an option for Google Drive, and they do. You can actually just log into your Google account, give it the permissions it needs, and boom, you're done. But there's a big issue. You see, the way that our show notes work, Venn is the host, and he shares that folder with me and Jordan and Strider and Empty and all the Patreons that you see that have access to the show notes. You all have that teeny tiny shared folder. Now, the KIO-G drive for KDE Plasma 5 does not support shared documents just yet. That is planned functionality. It will happen at some point, but there is an active bug being tracked on the KDE bugs tracker. So I'm assuming they will at some point introduce it. Maybe.
I don't know. So you're saying that it's going to be baked into KDE itself, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, and it actually does. They do a really good job of making it feel native. I guess that's part of including the KDE kitchen sink with everything KDE you install. Everything relies on that same framework. So the moment that framework is loaded, everything else just works off of that. It is a very good idea in theory, until you consider that this is KDE we're talking about, and it doesn't really work all that well.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm surprised that some people just don't. Well, I don't know, man. How do you want to put it? KDE's it's a thing. I liked KDE back in 1.3 version. It's right around there, and you can get off my lawn, kids. Lately, I think a lot of people left KDE when 4X was rolling out because that was one of the hot messes of all hot messes. And we got a lot of good came from that because we have a bunch of different desktop managers out that I wouldn't say spawned from that, but kind of spawned from people. It's like, we need something else other than this. I personally don't use KDE. I don't like how unified it is. Same goes for you, Gnome. It's not like we're buddies either. I use XFCE because it's just a scattered mess, and any desktop manager that somebody looks at and goes, what's this? I don't know how to use it. Good. Stay off my box. I consider that a win-win. The only thing I'm worried about with this or with any Google Drive implementation, A, you're not going to have 100% functionality, period. B, Google, stop. Come on, just release this. And 3 would be if something's going to break, I couldn't rely on it. I couldn't set it and forget it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I always have to go back and check it.
It's definitely not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are, kudos to them. They are actually doing a really good job of making this feel as integrated as possible with the file manager. But yeah, there's still functionality missing. There's still a couple of bugs. Some people have been reporting quite a few bugs with the KIO-G drive. But that was a thing that I found because, well, Venn said that he wanted that integrated experience, just opening a file, editing it, and then closing it down and have it save. Well, KDE has a prototype of that. It just needs a teeny tiny little bit more work.
Definitely could be a thing. So, immediately after the show last week, This kind of went down, and we got to mention it. We're not going to go into any type of real depth with it because it's a slap fight between Keys and Brad Spiegler because they're dropping 0 days on each other in public on Twitters. And I got to agree with this. This is coming from our Linux. All this business in our show notes. You know where to find them. They're on our website, linuxthemecast.com. I agree with the first comment in this. It's beyond childish. And yeah, both of them really need to grow the heck up. And that's coming from me. So what exactly happened?
Yeah, no, it's... So, Keys Cook originally started this by, during one of his presentations, bringing up a certain 0 day in the GR security code. And you probably remember GR Security. They were one of the people who Linus shouted at for being, security people and not actually taking the users into account and actively breaking how certain functionality of the kernel works. It was a whole mess. And, well, it's GR Security. So he dropped that 0 day, and then GR Security went on Twitter and said, "Oh, yeah? Look what I found," and dropped a 0 day on Keys Cook's code. So yeah, basically we had two quote-unquote security people swinging their e-pins around, seeing who had the bigger security schlong, as it were. And yeah, no, both of them have been on the receiving end of Linus's rants, and this is just lending more credence to those stern words, let's call them that Linus threw at them.
And here's the thing: not everyone has to get along.
No.
But if you're going to argue, do it in private. Don't do this public stuff because it's just meh. Not good for anyone. So why would I need a GUI app to control my heatsink?
I don't know about your heatsink, unless it's got those LEDs and there's like an LED controller in the BIOS.
Well, come on, man. What's your problem?
For that?
I'm sorry, it's thermal take. I was like, wait a minute, thermal take makes something other than heatsinks.
Oh yes. They not only do they make heatsinks, they make gerbils, they make keyboards, they make basically any type of accessory you can shake a stick at. This is the thermal take level 10M, and what it does is actually something very similar to a bit of software I've been using for quite a few years now, which is the Kova. What did I call it? It's the Lib Gaming Gear Kova thing that it basically takes your Rocat gerbils and just lets you control like the color of the LEDs. You have blue on the wheel there, have red at the back of the mouse here. You can control the polling rate of the mouse. You can set all the keys to actual keyboard buttons. You can do all of that. And this is basically the exact same thing, except for the thermal take gerbils, which is good. I mean, more hardware support, more advanced functionality, not just hardware support, but more advanced functionality for those gerbils that have tons of buttons and tons of functions you can enable. That's good.
Yeah, so if you're one of the few people who, well, I shouldn't say few people, because listen, you're basically selling something as an input pointing device on a computer. So yeah, you got to go a bit YOLO and throw some extra swag in that business. And you end up with a input device that looks like a starship with the equal amount of lights. If that's your thing, I don't judge you. I judge you, but secretly, I don't say anything.
Yes, you do judge. You judge a lot. You just don't bring it up all the time.
Because each to their own. You're not hurting me, man. How libertarian of me. This is a good thing. This is a neat control thing. Small bug I found with the program. If the program crashes, your mouse is going to stop working. So,
okay, that's significant.
Yeah.
See, even Lib Gaming Gear doesn't do that. If you have a Kova mouse and you've been using it, and you've probably seen that one time that Lib Gaming Gear crashed, you lost the advanced functionality. You were hitting the side buttons and you weren't getting like your keyboards or your macros or whatever. But you could still use the mouse. The right, left, and middle click still work just fine.
Yeah, apparently with my G500S, 6, it's got like 6 buttons. That's almost one too many for my simple little brain. So I'm good. I don't need macros.
9.
I'm easily confused. Yeah, you see, you could say 9 and you're like, yeah, 9. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, little buddy. I'm sorry.
Well, 11 if you count mouse wheel up and mouse wheel down.
Right. So can you make it change colors? It's like, can you cut all the colors off? Because that's all I want.
Yes.
All right. It's kind of brilliant. And Microsoft, we're going to talk a little bit about Microsoft. Not that we enjoy doing it, but they've kind of thrown Office onto the Chromebooks. And yeah, you can have a hate chubby for Microsoft all you want. This is actually a good thing for Chromebooks, and there's a good thing for what's running the Chromebooks, which is Linux. So you're going to have your Word, your Excel, PowerPoint, and you guessed it, $7 a month, because Microsoft is at a glacier pace transitioning into a services company. If you don't know that, they are, trust me. And that's in the Play Store. You can put it in your Chromebook. Your $200 browsing device just got the ability to communicate with the business world, I want to say.
Yes. So there was a little bit more to this story, which is a while back, people started reporting that the Office apps, even on those Chromebooks that support Android apps, they couldn't install them anymore. And someone who had them all installed, removed them and then tried to download them, and it wouldn't work. So they contacted Microsoft, and Microsoft said, yeah, we've run into a bit of an issue with the Chromebooks supporting Android, so we're going to pull them back for a little bit to make sure that when we do release them, they work properly. So now, if you have an Office 365 license, you can now get Word 2016, Excel 2016, PowerPoint 2016 for as low as 7 wet sticky caches a month.
It's definitely a thing, and it is, I think, an example of Microsoft putting their product where their mouth is. Because they tried with the Windows Phone. I think that was their last, let's lock everything in. See, because Microsoft has a very long history of buying their way into the market. Not necessarily releasing that great of a product, but just throwing enough money at the problem until they end up with something that's kind of usable, and by that time everyone's using it. They're like, haha, see, that's the thing. But they just want their products everywhere, and that was something who was it, Satya Nadella? Was it
Satya Nadella?
Nadella. Yes. He said a few years back, he's like, let's just get it out, get it everywhere, let's stop with this. And I'm this is the wrong show to say this on, end users, and I think especially in the business. Also, if you're in university, all right, you got to use Word or Excel or you can run it in Wine. Most of the time you can get away with it. You probably get away with using Google Docs, but your average person in university or your end user, especially in business, gives zero gosh and or darns. See, family friendly, ladies and gentlemen, what operating system their application is running on. I know. And
unless you have a very stringent board of powers that be who go, no. See, we're not using anything that either Microsoft or Apple doesn't make, because that's not actively supported. I've heard that argument so many times, and I want to slap myself stupid every time I hear it. But yeah, no, Chromebooks are still a big no-no in certain industries, as much as some people would like to just look. It works better.
Well, it makes them a thing, and if you're thinking, if you're dealing with the IT, you can power wash these things, and not the fun way that involves water. It's Chrome OS. You can just wipe them instantaneously. You're not really going to have to worry about viruses or anything like that when you give them to sales critters, because they're just as bad as teenagers. But it's a good thing, mixed blessing, and all that.
It is.
Subscription service, it would be fancy to get on Microsoft for that, but everyone's doing that now. That's you hotness. We don't own anything anymore. So let's just quit talking about Microsoft and address Windows 10 switchover.
Well, this is, you may remember that Munich a few years back, they were the big Linux champion because they switched most of the city's IT infrastructure over to Linux, and they spent some money doing it. And there was even a few articles a few years after they did that said, it paid for itself within 3 years because we don't have to worry about licenses. We don't have to worry about a lot of things. People are already trained. And then a certain someone who bought their way into Office, who used to work for Microsoft, said, no. We're going back to Windows. And, well, the plan is now in place, and it will cost them the base price, 50 million euros.
Well, you got to look at this, man. First of all, the only reason this is happening, this is the tick for tech. This is 100% politics. This is all this is over.
Oh, yeah.
This is not over whether or not Linux was working great for them or is Windows, but no. This is all one political party trying to poke back at another one for another completely unrelated thing. And, Pedro, isn't it a good thing we don't have to deal with politics in the floss community?
See what you did there. No, stay away from Reddit.
The council says the move to Windows 10 will make it easier for source-compatible applications and hardware drivers that has been using Linux-based OS, Linux, I think that's what it was called. Okay. Reduced costs by not having to run a Windows and Linux client side by side. Okay. Now, they have this crossover. What's this thing going to cost? 50 million euros. Okay, that's your figure. What they're leaving out, Brad, is the 29.9 million euro extra just for the licenses. Yep. On top of that, for Windows, Microsoft Office, the software distribution, print and profile management, identity management, anything related to virtualization, and then an additional 3.1 mil on testing and training. So,
okay, so the one issue that they had with Linux that they brought up, the technical issue, was that it was old. There were a lot of compatibility issues because some of the infrastructure was still running Windows, and there were some incompatibilities there, sure. You know how you could have solved that incompatibility? By switching everything over to Linux.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, oh look, everything is working. And if you really need to send those documents over in a digital format to another municipality that doesn't have Linux, ship them as a PDF. It'll retain its layout, whatever. Just create a few editable fields here and there that people can actually edit directly on the PDF. They're already paying for that Adobe Pro license. Might as well put it to use, right?
Well, here's my conspiracy theory. I think all the Microsoft sales weasels, and again, I don't think this particular instance is Microsoft coming in being Microsoft doing what Microsoft does. This is just a political thing. We can just use it as an example. But I do believe Microsoft is actively out there trying to get as many installs locked in as they can, because Windows is going to become a service too. And it's going to require a little bit
have to pay
a little extra jingle jangle every month on the enterprise side and end user side. It's going to be tough pulling that one off Microsoft. I look forward to watching you fail the first 9 times you attempt it. Good luck. It's going to be a fire, and I'm just sad for all the people caught in the middle of this political BS. So
I can imagine the desks of the IT people just creating a hole with their
next. Open Mandriva which is like, wait a minute, that thing's still around? All right, that's cool.
Oh,
but it
yes.
is dropping 32-bit support, and no one seems to panic anymore when 32-bit first started fading away from your Ubuntu's and the likes.
Arch.
Nothing of value here, man, was terribly lost. But they're talking about LX303.
It is Mandriva.
Yeah, it's a thing, man. They're going to say 32-bit apps. Let's see, like Wine. They're going to be supported by your i556 libs.
Steam.
So, yeah. Stuff like that's still going to work, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be on your 64-bit processor of business. And I don't know. I outside of like digging around in secondhand stores or eBay for retro gaming parts where you're going to find a pure 32-bit processor that you could actually use in 2017. I know I've said this before. I'm repeating myself, but I'm genuinely curious. Outside of that one laptop that you somehow...
Probably not for gaming. No, absolutely not. But yeah, they actually did something different, which is they're actively addressing, the sticklers like me. When I heard that Ubuntu was dropping 32-bit and that Arch was dropping 32-bit, what are you going to be doing to the 32-bit packages that you still need? Like Steam, like Wine, like a few other ones. And they say that, yes, we will retain that compatibility just using some multi-libs, probably even have a separate repo for the people who actively want it. That's awesome. That said, it's Open Mandriva. This is probably one of the very few distros I never really cared about. I wasn't even curious. I never even tried it.
I had heard the name. It makes sense, though. Smaller project. Yeah. I mean, nothing's stopping you from building your own. So...
Yeah.
It's one of the good things about Linux, and I know there's somebody out there with a perfect use case. Go to our contact section, write us an email for next week's show, and let us know, because I'm really, really curious if there's a situation.
Give us a sales pitch on 32-bit.
Yeah. It's like, no, man. Maybe we're missing out, Pedro. the real hotness is, you're sitting on your front porch, with your American spirits, drinking your PBR, running your 32-bit Linux distribution. It's good times. And so before we get out with the main segment, we want to talk, speaking of hipsters, here's something quite hipster you can do. Tis Neaten, OpenMax ill. Okay. Cloud music player for the Linux console that supports, get this, Spotify, Google Play Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, and whatever a Durable is. I don't know. It sounds dirty. Kind of like it now. This is 100% streaming done hipster. And I'm only kind of half joking. It's available. It's on GitHub. Links and all that business again in our show notes. This could kind of be useful if you had a Raspberry.
If you have a dedicated... Yeah, if you have a dedicated media server, like say you have a dedicated Plex box.
Well, man, I was going to say Raspberry Pi. You could throw that on there. And, or you could be realistic about this. Ooh, that is one long thing. When I say realistic about it, ladies and gentlemen, what I really mean is you can add it to your collection of apps that you've ran exactly once because, hey, thing X from the terminal. And like, oh, that's neat. And you never use it again because you know you didn't.
This one does seem to have some functionality because, let's face it, there are a lot of people out there who actively listen to Spotify. Even without paying a single cent, they'll listen to an ad every now and then and just get their music like that. And this is a good way. If you have that dedicated media box, set it up, boom. You can just play it with whatever audio player that supports network streams right from your local area network.
That's kind of what I was hinting at when I thought about it. It's like, oh, that's a silly little... I was like, wait a minute. No, you all right. Because you try to come up with use cases in your brain organ. And that was one of the things. It's like, yeah, you could definitely make use of that business.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I think that's going to wrap us up for the main news. But we do want to thank the beautiful people who are supporting this Nightmare Train. Well, this one's not really the Nightmare Train. This is like the Nightmare Snowflake Train. This is the little kids' Nightmare Train. You can do that by going over to linuxgamecast.com. Smash that support button, fam. Hashtag something, I don't know. We're on Patreon. We got some Amazon affiliate links. It's the holidays. People are buying stuff. If you're going to buy some stuff, consider doing that. We're in the UK. We got the Americas, the Canadians, and Le France. We also have an Amazon wish list. We got some stuff up there because we're always looking to upgrade the studio. And, man, you guys have really helped us out with that. Got to give a little shout out this week. I need to stop right there because we prepared. Hang on. Let me find it.
Ooh.
Where's it at? Boop. This showed up.
Oh, there it is.
This showed up. We were talking last
Some
week.
noodles.
NMAG. Because you get to write a little gift thing. We like showing that off. He says, hang on. Hi, fine, upstanding cannibal buddies. Can't say that word on the show. Enjoy your gift. And we quite do. Got it right here, man. Check it out.
Thank you.
Doo-doo-doo.
Thank you very much, Ed Mag. There are some audio noodles.
These are
They
XLR
will be put to use
to
very, very soon.
XLR to 3.5 backup audio because we have a USB running out of the mixer, but that's going to let us do some cool things. Thanks everyone for that. What else? So yeah, that's just our standard. If you want to go check out our wish list, this is some stuff that we're planning on buying. If you want to game shark us on that, enable cheat mode and all that. But what we want to get to is the 106 beautiful party people making this show possible, because this show was a Patreon goal that we nailed, and we've been doing it for over a year with your support. 106 of you kicking in 213 wet stinky cashes every sexy Saturday night. Maybe gaming's not your thing. This is your thing. If it works one way or the other, we got a bunch of Patreon rewards. English, man. I am not Englishing very well today, Pedro. But we Discord access, audio access, early access to the shows that we do on Tuesday and Thursday for the recorded versions, custom RSS feed. That's the thing. You get access to our pre-super shows. And we try to throw a bunch of little rewards in there to kind of give you some value back because you are making this possible. Do check out Meet the Freemans. That is up for patrons. If you ever wanted to watch Pedro and myself play cooperatively, and it's already a bad idea.
Broad strokes around cooperatively,
And if that wasn't a bad enough idea, we invite all of you to come join us, all of our fellow patrons, to pile in. I think we ended up with like 5 people, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. We went to Ravenholm. It was terrifying.
We made it all the way through to Ravenholm.
We did.
There was much whinging, but we made it through.
You can definitely pop in next week. You can watch or you can participate, because we're going to be in cars, and that poor Synergy mod's probably going to flip out.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to say, check out our calendar for that. Just hit schedule at linuxgamecast.com. But one final reminder for this month is, could you go ahead and pop that link into IRC and or Discord? What I'm about to say is make sure if you're in Discord, and Discord's your jam, that's where you like hanging out. We've tried to make it work back and forwards with IRC and all that. With bots, thank you, Empty. We love you. Call me. Make sure you link it with the stupid monkey bot. And Pedro's going to put a link in there. There'll be a link in the show notes. That keep everything organized and situated, because if you're not linked with the stupid monkey bot, we've been saying it all month, it's just Discord's going to kind of go dark for you. If you don't care about Discord, or if it's something you want to go back and do later, that's 100% cool too. This isn't like nightmare scenario or anything. We're just making...
Yeah, this is just for those people who actively want to participate in our Discord, because there's always a ton of people there all over the week. So if you want to keep on, talking.
What Pedro's trying to say, what he's trying to say is we're making the slightest attempt at organization and being adults. And
slightest.
Just a little bit. Okay, let's dive into a slice of book pie.
Ooh,
you know what?
Real nice looking pie.
I am kind of impressed by that. That doesn't even make me angry. That is, I don't know. But then again, I'm curious.
Probably apple pie.
I don't know.
Judging by the chunks.
Well, all right. So it's on a plate for listening at home. I was thinking that thing is massive. Then I saw the plate. So maybe not. Maybe not.
No, that's a party plate. It's a teeny tiny.
Coming up first, Steve-O.
All right.
Speaking of Discord, Steve-O threw this in Discord earlier today, and I had to put it in. Tell me about it. Never heard of it.
Yeah, so you may remember a while back, especially if you're on Google+, you may have seen a little project that someone tried to get one of those old talking Furby dolls to work with the Google Assistant, OK Google, Alexa. Well, they got it working with Alexa reliably. And there's the video. There'll be a link in the show notes for the article, don't you worry. And it's so creepy. I mean, without the fur on, you can almost, it's a cute robot with some eyes. That's great. The moment they put the fur on, you have Furby talking to you in Alexa's voice with the grinding of gears in the background. Yeah, there you go. That's what you should do. Just light it on fire. Just light it on fire. That's actually one of the things he says in the article, is that he actively tried to keep the heat down to a minimum because all those gears and all that circuitry did get a little bit hot. So he had to get creative with the space that he had to work with. But yeah, no, if it doesn't catch on fire of its own volition, you should consider it a favor and just, toss it in the fireplace or the oven, the microwave, whatever you happen to have handy. Just throw it in there. No, that's way too creepy.
I don't know. I mean, really the only practical use case I can come up with for this is having it and not telling people in your household what it does. And then you have to, because I know you can teach Alexa skills, but if you could get a different voice for Alexa.
Yeah, I totally want that project because I saw the Siri ad when Apple introduced Siri, but someone had dubbed over the Siri bits with GLaDOS. I want that so bad. I want GLaDOS personal assistant.
I don't know if they still make it. When I used to drive around a lot, I always carried a sat-nav thing with me. This was before smartphones, kids. And I think it was Tom, because I had a couple of voice packs of different actors that I bought because my life was pretty miserable because all I did was fly around and drive, and that's how I kept myself entertained. Quit judging me. But yeah, man, Alexa furries.
Furbies.
Yes. Oh no, I'm not touching that one. I'm just moving on to this next story. I don't know what you're talking about, Pedro. Let's interface.
The next one is it falls into the neat category, but why would you do it? It is a Raspberry Pi Zero with a custom PCB below it and a very big, very old school style blue connector. And if you read the title, you know that interfaces with the C64. Yep, the Commodore Zero, and basically you can turn your Commodore Zero into a full blown just Raspberry Pi pass through. Because you have a TV that doesn't have an HDMI channel and you need that old analog output. I don't know. I really can't think of a use case of this.
Listen, sometimes I'm at work and I am busy working on my C64, but I need access to a Linux terminal, and I don't want to switch computers. I need my Linux pass-through on my C64.
Well, you can probably justify it then, because this is still cheaper than that C64 quote-unquote remaster that whoever holds the rights to Commodore nowadays is selling.
That wasn't a C64. That was a Windows box shoved in a mold.
Yeah.
But here's what I want to know, Pedro. This is definitely... Can you then... With your Raspberry Pi, can you have a C64 emulator installed in your Pi's head? So you could C64 while you were C64. Then an exhibit shows up and things just start getting weird and...
Piception.
Hey, if you'd like to tell us about...
you could totally run that C64 emulator off of the Pi, passing it through to the C64, and at that point, you start to crave for those like 80 milliseconds of latency that you get out of the Raspberry Pi usually, because that's gonna go up exponentially.
So, if you would like to talk to us exponentially, you can head over to our contact section, fill out the bits. It's pretty easy. We got a couple of categories in there for this particular show. You want to check out Lwdw. Maybe you need some relationship advice. It's also an option. If you're a game developer contacting us for the Saturday show, please read or your emails will be ignored. We didn't get much this week, Pedro, but we got a kind of a long one from Viratunda.
Yes.
What's he say, man?
Veritanuda, yes. Well, he's saying that you're wrong. Last week we were talking about big companies going after, like, when we talked about the Kodi add-ons being shut down and being sent DMCAs and people just giving up because they didn't want to fight them. Venn specifically said that the biggest argument against that was ease of use. The more easy to use something is, the more likely those big companies, or like the Motion Picture Association of America, the Record Industry Association of America, etc., they are far more likely to go after you if it is easy to use than, just using a standard BitTorrent client. And Verita disagrees, and he says you're wrong on why they don't go after torrent client programs. They dare not take the case to court, because if/when they lost trying to prove an illegal tool, it would set a strong precedence where they can no longer shake down people for money by threatening to take them to court. You see, that would make sense if corporations made sense. You see, the moment you're a corporation and you have access to millions or billions of dollars with, snap of a finger, you literally throw money at a problem until it disappears. And so long as those corporations have that money to throw at that problem, they don't really bother going after the complicated stuff that only the techies get, like a BitTorrent client. But the perfect example is actually when you have a BitTorrent client that is easy to use, like Popcorn Time. They went after Popcorn Time like it was.
I think he's trying to say what they don't want is precedence. They don't want to set precedence with saying.
No. Of course they don't.
No. And I get his point 100%. But if something gets too easy to use, and it is kind of back to my point, and too many people are using it, then it becomes worth the risk. Now, you don't take them first. First, what you do first, Pedro, is you try to scare them. You don't try to sue them. You threaten to sue them. Your average person is like, boom, instantly going to tap out. Not an issue. Done. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you have something as widespread as like the what we were talking about last week, those little the Kodi boxes.
Yeah. The third-party ones that come preloaded with all the pirated stuff.
When it gets too easy like that, you go after Kodi? I mean, same reason, could you go after the makers of Transmission or Deleuze or something like that? I just... I don't know. I don't know. If I had the solutions, we probably wouldn't be doing a podcast on Wednesdays,
Yeah. And you can still totally send those DMCAs, and like Venn said, most people will tap out right then and there, because let's say you get hit with a DMCA from the MPAA. You can say, you know what, screw those guys, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Regardless of how strong a case you are, if they think you're a teeny tiny individual, you will be sued. They will throw money at that problem until you go away. And they have a lot of money to throw at that problem. Yeah, they don't want to set that precedent, but they are going to bury you in legal fees if they have to.
Hey, man, you got the best criminal justice system money can buy. Gotta love it. And everyone's different. That's always a fun thing. If you disagree, agree, or kind of don't know what that was all about, send us some feedback. We told you how to do it. Smash that contact button. You can leave some YouTube comments. Not a guarantee that I'll see him to add him, and I don't know. Pedro, I think, has added like 3 or something, or he might just argue with you in the YouTube comments.
Yeah, I will probably argue with you on the YouTube comments.
It's definitely.
It's what they're there for, man. Come on.
All right. We're going to get out of here, but we'll see you next week. It's been fun.
Yeah. Bye. Well, before we go, you get to see all these lovely, lovely people. Well, that's Venn. He could be lovely. I'm not lovely, that's for sure. But then we get the Shatwell dynamic and the executive producers. These are the people who give us all them.
These are the people who support the
cashes.
show and make it possible, and we thank them profusely. This is how we buy our gold-plated Lamborghinis.
Wonderful and crazy, and we love them. Yeah, you lot are awesome.
We got to figure out.
And you made the show possible. Never forget that.
Got to figure out what your issue is with your audio.
You know, outside of the shitty internet.
Yep. Like, I mean, it's got to be fixed.
I'm going to poke at Google over the next couple of days. Hopefully, I'll have something by Saturday.
Because the 2 things it comes across is we end up talking over each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks any conversation because I just got to tap the brakes. It's like, I'm just going to have to be quiet and sit here and...
Yeah. I will have a look, but it's really annoying. Skype wasn't doing this. So
well, that's not an option.
It's either wire itself. Yeah, it's either wire itself or Firefox. As much as I'd like to throw another browser at it, then it starts auto-gaining like a dick. Probably some hidden configuration in Firefox to account for that, maybe. I know that Pulse Audio actually has some stupid bullshit with desync, especially if you're using like a Bluetooth headset.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of interference. And if it clips out for just a second and then it comes back, the video will have kept going, but the audio will resume from where it stopped because it buffered the audio already. And it's giving you the buffered instead of giving you the live audio.
You got something.
And the only way to actively...
See, that's one of our issues right there.
Yeah.
Right there is... Because, I mean, it doesn't even hit Jordan when he's on LTE. So that's why I'm not sitting here going, it's a bandwidth thing.
Yeah. Something between Pulse Audio and Firefox. I don't know. I'll have a look at it. I'll Google the shit out of it. There was someone actually made patches for that Bluetooth thing. It's just that it caused a couple of issues for microphones, so that's probably not ideal. I'll have a look at it.
Yeah, that's just something we got to take care of. Can you tell the sun went down, kids?
It's a bit darker over there in Venn. Oh yeah, no, the sun goes down at like 3:30 here.
Mm-hmm.
It's right at the horizon.
I'm a bit more south than you by a few degrees.
Yeah.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. They fucking hit the switch though, man. I mean, it is. Oh, look, it's 4:48. I'm gonna go make some tea. Derp upstairs. Come back to. Probably should have hit the lights and cut them on because I can't see anything down here now.
It's set around. It's usually when I'm waiting for the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So I leave the office at like 4:15-ish. The bus usually comes 5 minutes after that. And it's those 5 minutes you can actually go from, oh, okay, so it's getting dark, but it's still daylight, to, oh shit, it's nighttime. Oh crap.
Let's get everything saved.
All right. Go with that, and yeah, no, I totally want that NVMe. That's what I'm going to do, a full reinstall, and pray that none of the raids decide to die out. Well, the home raid, that's fine. Probably could use a bit of a refresh. The game raid, that needs to survive. Now that I've started to do the pruning, there's only like a terabyte of games installed, but it's still a terabyte. I'd rather not re-download with crappy internet.
You made noise.
Yes.
No, it was like some alert thing. It went doot 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 doot.
Oh, that's Wire. When the call drops for a little bit. Yeah, I hear that a lot. I usually just stay quiet till that goes away.
Another thing you can take a look at is, because I'm pretty sure a 4x3 video is going to use less bandwidth than widescreen.
This is 4x3.
Cropped.
Yeah, you're cropping it for the show, but I'm sending you the full 640 by 480. I mean, there it is. Wait. 640 by 480.
All right.
You.
Shows been. How's Discord video? We haven't really played with it. We might have to.
Yeah. Let's see if you could have in the client, it's still going to show like those overlay bits, and they're probably not going to be you can't really hide them. But if you run it in the browser on your end, and if it doesn't auto adjust on your end,
Yeah, they just have to run 2 instances of Discord. I know.
yeah.
Yeah, all this shit makes my life harder. I understand.
Yeah. Well, you could borrow the double wire instances from Firefox with the double profiles.
What? I know you're trying to I am fully aware you were attempting to communicate an idea, but
You're already using different profiles for Firefox for Wire, right?
sweetheart, I know how to have 2 instances of Discord open.
So you could probably just borrow that and use Discord on Firefox to try it out. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
How about you figure out what's wrong with your audio?
I will try, yes. That's one of the things I am considering, because this router likes to nope itself every now and then it stays nope for hours on end. Uh, and I know that Sky actually, ever since they bought O2, they let you use third-party routers. You just send them an email. It's like, yo, give me the login details, and you set it up, and it works. So I will probably have to look at that too.
Enable QoS and restrict Nori's Wi-Fi usage between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm. Well, 9:15. It's around the time we stopped.
Be thorough.
Turris Omnia.
Buy the Chroma Omegatron router. Buy something that either has DDWRT on it or something you can install DDWRT on and you're good.
Yeah. That one was on Indiegogo.
Oh, hell no, I'm not buying a router that was on.
It is a fully open source high performance router. It's probably going to be stupidly expensive, but yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
Next thing I buy is going to be a dual WAN router.
Mm-hmm. No, this one doesn't support phone line in. I need something that takes an RJ12 in for the WAN. Could probably get like a mod tap and just plug it in through that, but yeah, let's minimize the amount of shit in between.
I am BSD for edge devices. We're talking about routers for your home, man. I've kind of grown out of the phase with Linux, man.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about routers for your, Fortune 500.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say, hell, it could probably even run Windows. It's like, nope, I wouldn't run Windows embedded on any device in my damn house and trust it.
Yeah. Let's see. If I had any of the laptops had dual NICs, I might repurpose that.
Everything has dual NICs if you get enough adapters, man. There were a few laptops that had dual NICs, but they were like the high-end ones. They never made anything even close to mid-range. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I know there's a bunch of Chinese manufacturers that do like cheapo routers, and most of them support DDWRT. So yeah, that's something I have to look into properly. And if you're running a custom enough router that you probably want to manage everything, yeah, BSD, just net BSD the thing, and Bob's your uncle.
You're going to make it your own device. See, I've grown out of that phase in my life because there was that point in my life when I was like, oh, yes, let's it's testing at home. It's getting to play with stuff that you play with at work. Better stuff. And I want me a nice little dumb box. It's nice and clean. I don't want to build my own because, no more repurposing PCs as internet gateway devices. Those days are done.
Yeah, I had one of those in university because I was a part of the MWP, the Portuguese wireless movement. The acronym doesn't really work in English. there was a free network that anyone could use. It was publicly available. Everyone was capped at 2 megabits. But there was also the private network that only people who donated or members of the movement would usually have access to. And yeah, considering where I lived wasn't exactly near the antenna, I needed a PC repeater right outside my window with a pretty high-powered antenna pointed out.
Yeah, I don't know. Do not know. All right. What are you going to have for dinner?
I have no idea yet, but I'm gonna cook something.
I assumed. I mean, well, I had my theories.
Push comes to shove, we'll just order some pizza, but we have food we can cook, so I'm probably gonna do that. I'm just going to stare at the fridge for a little bit till an idea pops in my head. That's usually what I do.
If I stare at the food, see, then I get bored and I'm like, screw it. What are you making tonight? Bowl? What's bowl? We're just going to put a bunch of stuff in a bowl and cover it in hot sauce.
Yeah, if I was living alone, that would be an option, but yeah, I gotta feed Nori, so yeah.
Venn chow's a very real thing in this household some nights. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was, when I lived on my own, I was very much an adept of throwing a bunch of stuff into a frying pan, bringing it up to cooking temperature, dumping it in a bowl. It's like eating it. There, it's good.
I was kind of proud of myself. The 3-pound bag of potatoes, the sweet potatoes I bought, lasted Saturday. Well, all right, Monday, Tuesday. They lasted 2 days. It took me 2 days to tear through 3 pounds.
Okay, all right. Are you done with sweet potatoes for the next 5 years?
3 pounds isn't enough to get a taste for them. It's just not.
I do like sweet potato French fries. If you have the patience to actually slice them up into French fries, I love those.
I do that. Not with sweet potato. Regular fries, I would just chop them and bake them, put hot sauce on them. But having potatoes in the house is like junk food for me because you just stab them a few times, put them in the microwave for 5 to 7 minutes, then you can just walk around and eat it.
Yep.
Carry it around with you.
Yep. Yeah, baked sweet potatoes is something I grew up with because my parents used to do it a lot. It's like, oh, it's a little bit of an afternoon snack. Neat.
See, this is why we need a budget. I would film that. I would at least make an attempt. You're talking to somebody who goes through a microwave like every 4 months, too. So it wouldn't be...
Still don't have a microwave. I have one sitting in my Amazon wish list. I've had one sitting there for a while. That was also one of the things I was hoping would go on stupid sale during Black Friday or Cyber Monday or something. Nope.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the one I have in the kitchen...
Still £55.
I've had the one in the kitchen for a long time. But I use them for smelting, so...
Yeah. That will go through them pretty fast.
Yeah. I buy them secondhand. You don't have to worry about what they smell like, because every single one that you see at the thrift store has a funk to it. There's a reason they got rid of it. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason somebody else didn't beat you to it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. I genuinely use it to heat up tea. That is, it's like, what is my purpose? Yep. It's like, you make water boil because I'm too lazy to use my electric kettle.
Yeah, we do have a kettle, and we have a sandwich maker, so really the microwave would only be used to like heat up leftovers, so we don't have to soil a pan.
What are leftovers? Leftovers confuse me like napkins confuse me. Leftovers, like, what is that for people who can't cook in correct portion sizes?
Or you deliberately cook more so you don't have to cook for the next meal, yeah.
But then you gotta eat leftovers.
There's the lazy aspect to it.
Oh no, man. Yeah, it'll probably outlive you then. Well, it'll probably kill you before, but, life hack, right?
It will still work. You'll be dead, but it will still work.
I remember growing up, it was a fancy one too. It was like the chef's version of the microwave, like the big massive radar range my mom had. It's like a mile of lead plating all over it, and big dials. You just clunk, 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 turned, and it bing, it vibrated. The thing was metal as hell.
My parents had one of those. Yeah. It's like a 40-liter microwave. It was huge.
It was massive. And they just don't exist anymore, but a couple of places made ovens that were not ovens. They were microwaves. No,
Yeah.
we're talking late 50s, early 60s here, but those things were made. Why would you? Because I watched a documentary on ovens. That's why.
That's usually the safe thing to assume is, how does Venn know that documentary?
Documentary.
Right.
I watched it. That's me going to bed every night. But going to bed is like, oh man, I need to get to bed right now, which means I'm going to be watching documentaries about 4 hours until I fall asleep. Yeah, you see leftovers from restaurant food, that's blameless. You can't help that. Well, you can, but then you feel wasteful. I'm like, I'm not going to eat the rest of that.
Yeah. That steak restaurant that we went to a couple of months back, that was good steak. It's very expensive, but good steak.
It was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Barely.
I remember because I was looking, it's like, okay, I'm working, but we still don't have that much money, so... fuck it, it's just this one time. Let's go.
Trugs, if I ever build, like, or renovate a kitchen instead of just buying a pre-built house, being all lazy and stuff. I didn't want to buy a house, let's have to be honest, but I've been stupid not to buy this house. Stainless steel kitchen, I mean stainless steel counters, cabinets, and we're talking water-sealed cabinets. Everything floor with a drain in the middle, because you're not cleaning my kitchen. Water hose, son. High-powered water hose. Because I remember doing that. That is because I worked in fast food over a summer. And that's how you cleaned everything. Just It's like, that's so cool. All right, that's what I want to do.
Even if you have like tile floors and tile walls, it's those seams between the tiles. That's the bitch to clean. That was my restaurant experience.
I put down, because I had hardwood floors in the kitchen like the rest of the house, but I put down a like high traffic linoleum, just because these are old ass hardwood floors, man, and I just got tired of waxing them and getting stuff. Just put that on there, and that's the thing. Worst case scenario, I could just peel that off. Well, not peel it off. Could I peel it off? I guess it peels off. They're just tiles. So.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Hardwood floors suck in the winter, kids. It's the only reason I wear bedroom slippers.
Yeah.
Because
although they're not as bad as just regular tile floors, those will sting.
Oh, whatevs. If you think you're a badass because you're going to tough it out across the hardwood floors to get over to the washer, right? You get in the washer, that's marble.
Yep. It's like
you'll jump your happy ass
Can I
back.
peel my foot off without
happy ass right back to those nice warm hardwood floors. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, this is a pre-built, yes, But it's got the British carpet to it on this side of the living room slash kitchen. And the bedroom is also carpet, and then the bathroom is just that fake wood that the kitchen also has.
And Mac, I don't know if you heard, man, the cable things, they showed up
Noodles!
a week later.
Your noodles have arrived.
That's Amazon. But then I was like, that explains a lot, because I don't know if you follow me on social media, there was that report about the USPS is what basically everything's coming through, and like one of the workers at the United States Postal Service just straight up narked out. They're like, yeah, we scan that shit way ahead of time, like week ahead of time, saying it's been delivered. Because if you might not know this, if you order something from Amazon and it says it's going to be there by 8 p.m., it always says by 8 p.m., and it doesn't, you're entitled to a free month of Amazon Prime. Ooh. Claim that business.
Yeah. I will at some point probably give Amazon the digits for Prime. Probably right around the time that the Grand Tour starts back up.
Mm. They just throw in the video. I get the Prime because it makes sense for as much as I order. Yeah. I mean, I order socks from Amazon, for fuck's sake, man. I have no shame about it. I would if.
Oh, nowadays I feel spoiled.
If clothes, off the shelf clothes fit me, I would order clothes from Amazon. I would.
Yeah, nowadays I'm totally spoiled because Nori goes like, yeah, we need this. Amazon, which one? Oh, that one. Okay, it'll be here. They say in 2 days. It's usually the next day. It's like, huh.
Now, sometimes if it's electronics, because I have to pay sales tax on stuff I order through Amazon.
Yeah.
So if it's not something I need immediately, sometimes I'll go check Newegg, because Newegg, no sales tax. And...
oh, that's pretty good.
But there's also the trade-off.
Everything's got that here.
Well, there's the trade-off is I get my free 2-day free. I get the 2-day shipping I pay for from Amazon, which is effectively next day shipping. And, or, you know, if it's a smaller item, sometimes it's cheaper just to go ahead and order it through Amazon, pay the sales tax on it versus paying shipping with Newegg. And it's always worth checking. Just a pro tip for everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right, beautiful people.
I usually always pick the free shipping one.
If I need, you see, I've been spoiled, man. That's where Amazon they know they got you on that, because if it's usually there within 48 hours for me when I order something, and you know, this time of the year, just whatever. It gets there when it gets there. But normally, and there's no worry to it. It's like if something doesn't show up, you could be like, yo, Amazon didn't get it. Like, you know what? We're just going to overnight you another one. Now, that might not work with like 60-inch TVs, but for, you know, $20, $30 items, Amazon's like, whatever, we're just going to keep you here, have another one. See if that one gets there.
Yeah.
There's no, you know, oh, you need to talk to this person and call between these hours. You just 24 hours a day hop on them. Like, yo, got a problem. They'll fix it. All right. This is going to be real. It's been fun. It is 4:39, and I need to turn this into a podcast and get it up for everyone. Oh, we're also on iTunes, by the way. I don't use iTunes. Again, I know some of you are stuck with iDevices. Maybe some of you like your iDevices. Maybe you just bought a new iPhone X. All right, just don't tell me about it. I couldn't pay $1,000. All right, this is coming from a person who spent $1,000 on a Google Nexus tablet. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I'm an effing hypocrite, aren't I? Half of that. I'm half as crazy. I got 10 inches of fury out of that thing, though, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on the iTunes if that's like where you get your podcast from. That's the thing. All right. Yeah, we could get on the Zune store. We tried. We love you. Died of fire. See you Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be doing something with Jordan. Bye-bye.